From Tally to Cali.
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, we talk about everything. Football, leadership, quarterbacks. How's it all coming together? Loucks, his vision for the basketball team. The ladies advance. They take on LSU tonight. And success on the diamond for both Lonnie and Link. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it and take it. Sip the juice, everybody. 260 milligrams, all natural caffeine. No sugar crash, gluten-free, always non-GMO, always vegan, always kosher, made in the United States of America. Can't put tariffs on this bad boy, everybody. Put it in your body. See how better you feel. Your energy, your focus, your mood, even your workouts. Probably going to be a little bit better because you took a little shot of Vitamin Energy, not even 2 ounces. Take it anywhere and everywhere you go. VitaminEnergy.com, shake it and take it. Warchant.com, ultimate Seminole sports source. If I'm not mistaken, I still think we got our spring sale going down, everybody, which is, I don't know, what sounds better, Corey? You're our marketing guru. Does it sound better to say $1 a week for a year or $52 for a whole year of access?
Probably $1 a week for a year is the way I'd go. Yeah, Absolutely.
And we'll throw in a $20 gift card to Garnet and Gold. If you like anything Florida State, apparel, something for the house, a shot glass, anything you could possibly think of with a Florida State logo on it, Garnet and Gold's got you covered. So get a $20 gift card to Garnet and Gold when you also join. So come on down. Yes, practice is not nearly as, I was going to say transparent. We're still getting to talk to the coach. And somebody got mad I think a little bit mad at me because the little video feature I did, I referenced the fact that practice is closed, and people are like, well, you guys keep, for acting like you don't care about practice being closed, you sure talk about it a lot. Maybe at some point I'll stop mentioning it. But yeah, it's not open right now, everybody. So it's a little bit different. But we still got Corey and Ira sourcing things, analyzing everything. It's all going down at warchant.com and all the recruiting stuff that you need to know as well over at warchant.com. Corey Clark, how are you, man? How was your weekend?
It was good, buddy. It was good. Thanks for asking. How was yours?
Solid. Our guy Dan Hurley tried. He tried if they could just maybe work on some offensive rebounding off the free throw line.
Yeah, that was tough. That was a tough end of that game. They're just slapping balls back to the Gators after they miss free throws. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I just don't want them to win it all. But
I definitely wasn't upset that they beat Dan Hurley on Sunday, and they're a very good team. Look, they might win it all. Clayton is unbelievable. And he's like one of 6 really good players they have. So we'll see how the Gators do. Hey, it's always tough. Aslan. They still got 4 more to win. But that was only an 8 seed. So theoretically, it should get tougher from here on out. But sometimes, as we all know, you survive those the ones that almost get you, and that gives you all the confidence you need to just kind of steamroll. So we'll see. They're a very good team. But also on Saturday, not only was there hasn't been a great NCAA tournament so far. I'll be honest with you. Yeah,
where are the upsets?
No real upsets. No buzzer beaters. Only a few games like down to the final possession. It's just not been a very exciting one. But what was exciting is for my sister's birthday, some family members and I, along with Stephanie and Brady, did an escape room.
Oh, I've yet to do one of those.
Okay. It's I guess it's a nice way to spend. We got it done in like 47 minutes. So it's a nice way to spend 47 minutes. It's fun enough. You're working as a team. There's stuff to do. Locks to codes to crack, locks to open. So it was fun enough, I guess. Stephanie really loved it though. So
you sound a little underwhelmed.
She loved it so much that apparently I'm gonna have to do it again when we get back to Tallahassee. I feel like she wants to join some club. If there's a club or like a membership where you get to the 10th one is free or something, I feel like we're going to be doing that because she fell in love with it. She really liked it.
I want to do have you heard of these things called rage rooms?
Where you just like punch pillows and stuff?
Yeah, you just break stuff. Just a bunch of stuff in a room, you just get to break it. I think they give you like bats and things of that nature. Goggles, safety goggles too.
Oh. What about therapy? That's fair. That's fair. Therapy's for babies.
You do a lot
go
of
break
talking.
stuff instead.
You do a lot of talking in therapy, though, right? You talk about your feelings, your emotions, things of that nature.
Sure.
We get to talk to the football coach. We get to talk to the players. So I think since the last time we talked, we got to speak to Daryl Jackson and James Williams. Mm-hmm. And we also got Tommy Castellanos and Brock Glenn. Obviously got Mike Norvell both times. We'll get Mike, Tony White, and Gus Malzahn this Saturday after that practice. So look forward to that one. But we'll be able to talk about on the next Monday show. But I guess let's start, not in chronological order, I guess let's start with quarterbacks, right, Corey? Gus called Brock a winner.
Yeah.
I think even Mike said on Saturday he's got a lot of winner in him.
Yeah.
Would have liked if some of that would have kind of bubbled to the surface last year during a 2-10 season, but hey, it's not all on poor Brock. How do you think there's a legitimate candidacy? I don't know if that's the right word or not. Like, is Brock Glenn a real factor right now, do you think? Did you hear anything that made you think otherwise? Yes or no, I guess.
No, I don't. I wrote a story on him that's on the website, kind of more about that he's still here. I keep bringing that up, and I am very I'm encouraged by that. And backup quarterbacks are an important position, like they are. I mean, he doesn't want to be a backup, and that's a kind of a weird thing to hear, I'm sure. But it's nice to know that if somebody gets hurt, if your starter gets hurt, you have a guy with some experience, and not Kevin Sperry. Like, come on, man. Like that, he might be awesome. As a true freshman with no reps, I would assume, be completely overwhelmed if he had to go in the third quarter against Alabama. Brock Glenn might too, but Brock Glenn's at least been in these situations before, and I just can't stress how important that is. Like the lifeboat the life raft that is, security vest, security blanket, whatever analogy I could maybe figure out. That is for a coach in an offense to have a guy like Brock Glenn who's going into his third year that started 6 games in his career. None have gone well. I think he's 0-6 or 1-5 in those 6 starts, and I looked it up, he was the third. He had the third lowest QB rating in the country last year for anyone that attempted over 100 passes in the country. That's gross. It's gross. Now, he was on a gross offense, but he didn't help matters. And he's the reason, quite honestly, that Castellanos is here. If he had shown much of anything at all last year, or had shown the ability to be a good college quarterback, they probably don't make a run at Tommy Castellanos, but Brock Glenn did not show that. I say all that to say this. That does not mean his story is written and he's done. Odds are he's not going to be an effective college quarterback. But
here,
or anywhere. But things happen, right? People do get better. He is going into year 3. People do make big leaps. Do they make leaps from like the third worst quarterback in the country statistically to like a top 10? Not typically, but crazier things have happened, and he's in a completely different offense. So I thought it was one thing that did catch my ear, Aslan. Tell me if it's just me being the cynic. So if any of you guys watched the Brock Glenn interview, and a lot of people did, it's like 3,000 or 4,000 people, which just, again, tells you how crazy you guys are, you Florida State fans are. Backup quarterback getting 4,000 views. Link Jarrett's got the number 5 baseball team in the country, and it gets 800. But we get it. We know where the bread is buttered. But anyway, so Brock Glenn is talking about how he fits in Gus Malzahn's offense. And he's like, it's been going great. It's been awesome. But I feel like I fit in any offense.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, there's probably coaches around the country watching this, Brock. And for you to say, oh, yeah, this offense fits me perfectly, maybe not the right thing to say when you're trying to, show your wares or showcase your wares for potentially another school if spring doesn't go the way you look. And I think, 2 years ago, 2 months ago, definitely 2 decades ago, I would never read into somebody's comments like that. But, yeah, it makes sense for Brock Glenn to, like, kind of hush that talk a little bit and be like, oh, yeah, I'm not just going to shine because I'm in Gus Malzahn's offense. I can play. I think I bring a lot to the table in any offense. And I'm like, yeah, it's a smart. I don't know if his family told him to say that, his agent if he has one, if it's just him on his own and he really thinks that. But I thought that was telling. That he's like, yeah, I fit in any offense. Gus's has been going great, though.
Are we too self-deprecating? Do people still really read all of the stuff that we write and say on podcasts and really put a lot of weight into it, apparently? Because us being out there and hyping up players can cause potentially NIL negotiation snafus and things like that. And we got quarterbacks possibly politicking for other landing spots?
I don't even know if it's
megaphones?
that. I don't know. It seemed odd. It seemed like an odd thing to say,
Yes.
to like clarify.
Yes.
He wasn't asked like, hey, is this offense better for you than any other?
Yep.
He was just asked, how is it going in this new offense? How do you feel like you fit in Gus Malzahn's offense? He's like, well, I fit well in any offense. I don't know if that's real confidence. I think it is. He's always been a confidence kid. It was a calculated statement. I did think it was just a funny thing to hear. It was very noticeable that he said it like he said it.
Apparently had a big run during the team period on Saturday. So, but we'd seen those happen before in practices. Nothing new, nothing uncommon. What about Tommy? Tommy said he seems comfortable. Mike Norvell said that he had some nice throws.
Deep throws, verticals.
Yeah, so sounds like that's coming along nicely. What stood out to you about any comments that Mike made about Tommy and Tommy made about this offense in practice so far?
Real quick, though, to go back to Brock. So the way I wrote my story was because he was asked like why he's still here, and I want to say that I want to clarify. He said that he loves Florida State. He loves Mike Norvell. Yep. He loves being around people that expect the best out of him and get the best out of him. I want to put that in bold that he did say that, and I think that's true. But it's hard to write these stories. Like I wrote a story basically saying because it's crazy that he's still here, right? Not crazy, but it's abnormal.
Yes,
that he's still here. So I kind of wrote how rare this is and how much Norvell appreciates it and what it says about Brock Glenn to still be here. At the same time, there is not a 0% chance possibility that in May he's somewhere else. That's just the reality. So I wanted to couch it a little bit when I wrote it, and I just thought that caught my ear a little bit about him saying I look good in any offense. But he did say he looked good, or he felt it was a good. He liked Malzahn's offense through 3 days. It was awesome. I think is the word he used. For Tommy, kind of matter of fact with the way he talked about everything. To me, he looked like a guy. He felt like a guy, and again, this is me not ever having a conversation with the kid. But he felt like a guy that's just comfortable in his own skin and is not getting too worked up at all about a nice Saturday in March. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, how many football practices has he been to as a college player? 150? You know, he's played in 25 games or 20-something games. He started 20. So a Saturday in March where he hits a couple deep shots, I thought it was the right amount of reverence he gave those plays, which is like, we hit some deep shots. I feel comfortable enough. It's, he wasn't like over the moon about anything. It wasn't like he was rude. He just wasn't over the moon about anything. He kind of acted like, I'm a starting quarterback talking to reporters after the third day of spring practice 6 months before the first game.
What do you think about him comparing himself? Like, I shouldn't compare himself, but liking himself to Jameis?
Yeah, in the way that he carries himself at practice.
Yes.
Said he's goofy, he's lighthearted, he likes to keep people on their toes, he laughs, but he gets on them too. He likes to keep practice fun. Yeah. And I do think that's not a bad sentiment to have. That's certainly not a bad thought to want to go into a practice thinking let's not have this feel like a grind. Let's have fun with it, and Jameis certainly did. And I think that when you like playing football and you're out there for the joy of the sport and you love even practicing, I do think that can be felt from the other team, and it can spread to other teammates who maybe do feel it is more of a grind in March. He did not. He said when he was asked about his leadership qualities, I don't remember exactly how the question was asked, but he said, I'm like Jameis. I'm like, well, hold it. Slow down there, big guy. But then with the context of it is more about how he carries himself in practice, how he interacts with teammates. And we've been saying that for 3 months. Every teammate that talks about him talks about it. Cam Davis talked about it. He has been the leader, maybe of the entire football team, but certainly of the offense. And he's got a big personality, and people kind of gravitate towards it. Now, if he goes out there and isn't any good, it loses a lot of its effectiveness. But as long as he's pretty good and is the big leader, I can't overstress that because they had none of that last year. Yeah.
He's a good role model for leadership, Jameis, in his college years.
Yeah,
right. And also said he's been getting along really well with Deuce Robinson, their next-door neighbors, and he realized how important it is to connect not only on the field but also off the field, much like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Okay. So, again, he's really striving for some high-level comparison. So
I like that, man. It's better than saying,
I do too.
Like Kromenhoek and Portier. Aim higher. So good for him, man.
And so what do you, to go back to that, I guess, in your opinion, him being so relaxed, is that a product of confidence? Him either feeling confident that, he's the guy or he's going to be able to thrive in this offense, or is it just him being measured and having a level head, having been a veteran and realizing, yeah, man, it's the first day in pads in spring. There's no reason for me to get up here and be nervous. There's no reason for me to get up here and be arrogant.
I think the answer to both of those is yes. I think they're both right. I think he is confident in his abilities. I also think that he knows he can contextualize it in what the first day in pads and spring practice is. And so I think they're both there. And again, that comes with experience. It also comes with a guy that does believe in himself. Now, we'll see how good he is, but part of it's not even half the battle. It's like 80% of the battle is thinking you're thinking you're good. If you think you're good, a lot of times you'll become good, or you already are good. You know what I mean? Like, there aren't many people that think they're great that are laughably bad at anything. I do think Tommy Castellanos thinks, me personally, I think he thinks he's going to be the best quarterback in the ACC. I think he thinks he's going to lead this team to double-digit wins. I think he thinks he's going to lead this team to Alabama, and they haven't seen anything like him. That's how I think. Just like Gus thinks they're going to have the best offense in the country. I don't think those are false words, or I don't think those are empty thought. I don't think they're just saying it. It's false confidence.
Right.
I think it's real confidence. Now, it's probably not going to come true, but it's not false confidence. Tommy Castellanos is confident in himself, and he's earned it. But just when you look at the numbers, again, I stress in 2023 he was third in the ACC in rushing. He rushed for more yards than Trey Benson and more touchdowns. And then last year he threw 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Like he's done enough at this level with his arm and his legs that he's proven if it can all come together. If it can all come together and he can be that efficient as a passer and still run like he can run, well, you are talking about a unique weapon and one of the better weapons at quarterback in the country. He certainly thinks he is. And again, we'll see what it's like when it's married to Malzahn's offense, because it could be really something. We'll see.
One of the last comments I think Brock made when he was asked about, I guess, the offensive line was he said that he was very impressed by how well-conditioned they are because they are going fast. And he talks about when you see guys that big hustling and continually able to exert at like high levels of effort, like it makes you want to step up your game. And that's going to be a kind of a tough thing to contextualize until we actually see them in a scrimmage, Corey, at some point this spring, which we're looking forward to. But, I guess when we get to that point, you'll probably be able to maybe sprinkle in a little bit of that element of this offense into what it can do to help this overall product be much better this time around. Just them, the speed thing, we saw it for, I feel like maybe the first half of the Boise State game in 2019 with, Kendall Browse. And then after that, it really never took off again. But I feel like this is such part and parcel of what Gus does. We probably don't have really a good feel yet for just how much it can help this offense get better so fast.
Yeah, but I think that overall that 19 offense was better than the 18 offense, I feel like.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
I'm
no,
wrong.
it was.
Hornswoggle didn't help a ton, but he helped a little bit in a couple of games. But yeah, they weren't breakneck speed. They were faster, which made sense because when you have a bad offensive line, at least try to tire the defensive out with how quick you go. If you're not going to lean on them and push them out of the way because you're not as strong as them, at least get them more tired than you, be in better shape than them. So yeah, with that, in regards to that, I think when you have an offensive line that's experienced, that's probably not NFL bound, at least most of them, it can be an average offensive line talent-wise. I think that's what you'd say this offensive line has proven to be at their other places. Average to a little above average, nothing special. Not first-round picks, not second-day picks in the NFL draft. Just decent-ish college offensive linemen. Well, if you're a decent college offensive lineman, that helps, number one. And if you get the other defensive linemen so tired and they're more tired than you, then, yeah, man, that opens up huge holes. That when they're not even – I mean, heck, man, you guys saw it with this Florida State defense last year. When they got tired and were not into the game, it was Betty – what is that? Betty bar the door? What is that?
Caddy bar. Katie bar?
Katie barred the door. Yeah, Katie barred the door, and just holes everywhere. So I think I think that's the mindset there. It's a great equalizer when you don't have an overly talented offensive line, a great offensive line. Get that defensive line tired, and you forget because everybody goes fast now, right? It seems like nobody huddles anymore. It's like 10 teams in the country that huddle. But Florida State was a slow team last year. They've been kind of slow under Norvell. They're obviously slow under Jimbo. Gus Malzahn does always go fast. Always. He would love to snap the ball with 26 on the clock, 28 on the clock, 30 on the clock. It's like that's not even something we're thinking about yet. It's just how many more plays they should be running and how much faster their offense moves than it has in years past. Hopefully it'll help. It should. It's worked for Gus wherever he's been.
So they went from 361 yards to over 408 yards from 2018 to 2019.
And think about, like, that was with James Blackman kind of spiraling.
Yeah.
And then Hornibrook.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't what. So again, that
and 21. Sorry, and real quick, 21.9 points in 2018 to 27. So a touchdown. They went up a whole touchdown. They went from 112th in scoring offense to 73rd.
So now what you'd want here is you don't want to just go up a touchdown this year. That would be a disaster. If you only get up to 22 points per game, that still means you're the 108th best offense in the country. That's a disaster. You've got to double this. I think the difference here is in 2018 to 2019, they basically just switched systems, but they didn't get any new players unless you count Hornibrook. They've got a whole new – now it's 5 years, 6 years later, you can switch out your whole roster. So it's a better roster, a better coach, hopefully a better offensive system that goes faster. So hopefully you can double that output that you had last year at least.
CPTallybar.com, that's just a website. 2475 Appalachia Parkway, that's just a physical address. But it leads you to the same place, the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Head over there. Enjoy daily lunch specials from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Comes with a side dish of your choice, only $8.99. Tuesday nights, trivia night. Thursday night, bingo night. Cash up for grabs. Cold hard cash. 4 rounds. $250 in each round when bingo is going down. No live music this weekend, but there'll be lots of basketball still on all the televisions at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Hopefully you've been checking out March Madness over at the CP with Bill and all the good folks over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corey, you going to make a triumphant return to trivia on Tuesday night?
Well, we got player interviews, right? We got Norvell and player interviews. So the plan is, yes, I'll be there, but it'll be late. Okay. It'll be late. So get an early lead while you can. Right. Because once Corey gets there, that's a wrap.
Yeah. Also, there's something called the Corey Wrap at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, everybody. So
that's right. It's really good. So are the registered sausage bites. Along with cheap, not cheap, because that makes it sound like it's worthless or it's not worth the money. Inexpensive.
There we go.
Less expensive.
There we go.
Alcoholic beverages that you can get almost anywhere else in the city.
That's right. That's right. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Shake it and take it. There was a pro day that went down this past weekend as well, Corey, and we got to speak to, I think, like 11 of the players that participated in it. Maurice Smith's one of the guys that we talked to. We also spoke to Zaire Thomas, and they both were asked about whether or not they've been asked about last year. And, Zaire had a really good answer. Go check out his interview. I can't do it justice. I guess I could just drop it in here right now, but I don't know if I'll do that. But he was just like, yeah, maybe people ask me, like, how was it going 2-10? Going 2-10. He's like, what do you think it was like? And he kind of giggled. He's like, it was horrible. It sucked. And then Maurice had words where I think he said, like, we failed. Like, we failed as leaders. Like, we did not lead the team in the right way. All the little things that used to matter, we weren't able to really focus on those the way we did in years past. So that the leadership void, obviously another thing that people are well aware of now as we have turned the page on what happened last year. But then when we spoke to Daryl Jackson last week after practices, Corey, he said the same thing. And he said that he felt like he failed as a leader last year and wants to really make up for it this coming season, which obviously that's a really good sentiment. We'll see if it can really flesh itself out. But when guys use a word like that, like that's there's taking blame and accountability for things. And then they're saying, like, I failed. Like, I feel like I failed my teammates. feels like that probably is going to weigh on you more, haunt you a little bit more, motivate you a little bit more to make sure, if not you being able to lead this team, at least being able to identify other guys in the locker room to kind of draft off of that can help lead this team. Because, again, as we sit here and try to figure out the best way forward for this team, it's some sort of leadership from highly talented players to assert themselves now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was a failure of epic proportions, and everybody's involved. Like, everybody has a blame. Everybody had a say in that disaster. The best players didn't play the best at all times. Certainly didn't lead like they could have led. And, it turned into 2-10. So it's good to hear. Again, it's March. It's talk. I get it. We got to talk about something. Although we actually have to do a lot of sports to talk about. We haven't even talked about our meeting with Loucks. Our hour long. I mean, come on, man. There's a lot happened since our last show. I don't want to talk about Daryl Jackson saying he's going to be a better leader. I think he is. I do think they take it personally because you can't not. And I do think that I hope Azaria and Farmer go to these guys and like, look, man, every team we met with was like, how in the world did y'all go 2-10? Like, it's not a good look for you as an individual player when you're on a horrible team. It just isn't. When you go from 13-0 to 2-10, and you're going to be like, "Hey, draft me in the first round." All right, yeah, sure, dude. What? Like, I just think it's a blight on your resume, and so you don't want to do that. And so again, if next year Daryl Jackson's coming off a 9-3 season where he's all ACC first team, think about what that would do to his resume to turn into like a dominant performer that came back and actually achieved something, not just individually but team-wise, and made them better. That makes you more appealing. That's going to make you maybe not an extra comma, but some a lot more, a few more dollars anyway in your bank account if you can prove to these teams that you're a program impactor. Not just you impact the guy across from you that's trying to block you. You have an impact on the people around you. They're fired up about that usually. That's a nice feather in your cap. So I hope they all took it personally because they should.
We've already got to speak to James Williams when he first enrolled at Florida State. We got to speak to him after day 2 of spring practice. Was there anything that stood out to you about his messaging or anything that he said? He's another guy that is being leaned on as being a leader, but he even admitted, like, yeah, this is new for me. At Nebraska, we had guys that had been there for a while, and that was kind of their role, but he seems open to taking that. But if not that, I guess just him seemingly fitting in so nicely here, feeling at home, really appreciating what Mike Norvell has created here. I guess those are the two main takeaways I had from listening to James Williams' interview from last week.
Yeah, he's such a unique personality, not just because he went through whatever he went through, but that he's obviously had some rough things that have happened in his life. It's weird. I can't imagine out of the 100 guys, let's say, on the Florida State football roster or any college football roster, a lot of them have gone through some stuff. A lot of them. Yeah. But, it's weird that his has been so publicized, but I think that has to – not publicized in that we even know what anybody's talking about. Just that any time a coach or he talks about his past, it always is like, I don't know, man, there was some stuff that happened that was bad news. But there's been other kids that have gone through that it hasn't been this newsy necessarily. But I do think that what's interesting about him is that he seems to have like a really like a mature perspective on it.
Yeah,
like that he's come through the other side and looks back at that other guy, whoever that was, and is, I don't know, he's sheepish about it. But I think he really does appreciate where he's landed, and that he just seems to have some. I don't know, when he talks again, we don't see him. We haven't seen him yet, but he just talks as like a real adult. Like he's again, I'm going to use that phrase, but he's comfortable in his own skin, it seems like. He'll talk to us for 15 minutes. Like he came I joked about this when it was happening, but we got him and Daryl Jackson after Norvell on Thursday, I think. And they both came in, so Norvell leaves and James Williams comes in. He's probably talking for 5 minutes already to reporters, and then Daryl Jackson comes in, and then people go and start talking to Daryl Jackson too. And Daryl Jackson comes in 5 minutes late, not 5 minutes late, comes in 5 minutes after James Williams. Is done with his interview and is walking out the door. James Williams is still talking. Like he's going to be one of the faces of this team. He's a good personality. He's a smart kid. He's a bright kid with a background that seems to really have his feet on the ground and appreciating where he is. So I think I don't know if he's going to be a leader. I do think he is going to be somebody that can lead by an example and is going to absolutely play his tail off for Terrence Knight and Mike Norvell and Tony White. And that'll be – I don't know that you can say that about everybody else that played football for Adam Fuller last year. I don't know if you can say it about anybody. From start to finish, played hard every play, every rep. I feel like he's one of these guys. I think Juice Cryer is one of these guys that is going to play hard every rep and can lead that way. And if Darrell Jackson can take something from James Williams in that regard, and not that Darrell Jackson is lazy, I'm just saying Darrell Jackson at times last year didn't seem, and he admitted, didn't play maybe with the same urgency he needed to. If he sees one of his teammates doing that every play, that seems like it would be a good benefit for everyone involved.
Shout out to Maurice, by the way, who apparently got 30 reps on the bench, man. 30 reps at 225, and I don't even think our guy weighs 300 pounds.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's really impressive.
That's remarkable, man. Hope he's able to catch on somewhere. I don't know. I don't have any other data here for Azarie and Josh Farmer and their pro days, but feels like it sounds like Azarie could possibly be first day guy. If not, definitely day 2. And Josh Farmer, I think he said that his representatives have heard that he's somewhere like in the top 45 on most people's boards. Like he's 25 to 45. So buckle up, boys. What, April the draft? So
yeah, late April. So we got like another month.
Yeah. All right, it is March. Basketball on everybody's mind. Shout out to Brooke and the women's basketball team. Huge win over 11-seeded George Mason down in Baton Rouge, 94-59. George Mason got 70 shots up, Corey.
Yeah.
Only made 20 of them, though. Only made 20 of them. Tania Latson led the way for Florida State, 28 points, 11 of 14 at the line, added 5 rebounds. Michaela Timpson, double-double machine, doing her thing, 18 points, 11 boards. I mean, that's pretty much ideal Brooke Wyckoff basketball. It feels like they played fast. They were efficient from the floor, and they hung 90 points on a fairly decent team in George Mason.
Yeah, a team. I think George Mason was like 27-5 or something. Like they were no joke. They were an 11. It wasn't like they were playing a 15 seed. That's a pretty good team, and it was kind of close. Like Florida State always had some distance, like a 10 to 12 point distance. But in the fourth quarter, I think they were only up by 10 or 8. Right at 10. I think the fourth quarter started. They were up by 10. And then they went on like a 31-4 run. Like I think George Mason scored like 8 points in the fourth quarter.
That's
6. Crazy. And and one was in a bucket in the final 45 seconds. So they were held to 4 points for the first 9 minutes of the quarter. Meanwhile, Florida State just ran away with it. And is it Bowles that was 5 for 5 from 3? I'm telling you, that game she had when Latson was out, when she scored over 30, like. Those are the kind of things that maybe you hope come into play today. They're going to be in a really tough place. Baton Rouge against LSU, Kim Mulkey, that's a good team. That's a national power on their home floor. But Florida State did go beat Notre Dame, who's better than LSU, on their home floor. They did go beat North Carolina on their home floor. North Carolina's a 3-C2, just like LSU. They have some experience. They also have 4 players with Gordon, Latson, Timpson, and Bowles, who have all scored right around 30 points in a game, have taken over games. And it's good to have that, like if they're just crashing down on Tania, you do have some other people that can go off and like literally either win you the game or keep you in the game until Latson gets going. Odds are they're not going to win. LSU's very, very hard to beat at home. They're also probably a better team than you. But it's the first time Florida State's won an NCAA tournament game since 2019. They've been every year. That's crazy. They kept saying that stat on TV, and I couldn't believe it. I didn't go back to look it up to see if it was true, but I assume it was because it doesn't seem like they've had a lot of success. And like I said, this is a perfect time for Tania Latson to – wouldn't it be great for her to go off? Mm-hmm. Like they can't stop her. Now, Mulkey is a great coach, weird human being, but a great coach that will – I don't foresee her. I mean, Caitlin Clark did it to them, I guess, but I don't foresee her letting one player beat them. So I doubt Latson's going to get 40 to 40. But if she has one of those great games, those March games, man, that would be cool to see. It's cool that she got a win. She scored 28 in a win. It'd be cool if she took it to another level tonight and showed everybody that doesn't already know that she is literally one of the best players in the United States and the best player in Florida State history. What a stage for her tonight to play well.
Well said, Corey Clark.
Thank you, buddy.
How about our guy Luke Loucks? We spoke to him since we all last hung out on this show, everybody, for literally about an hour. It was like a 52-minute interview, I think, Corey Clark.
Yep.
What are the cliff notes on that one?
Yeah, that's hard to. It's hard to even document. It's hard to even like sum up. He's joked many times already. He's a talker. I think the big thing is that we know the staff is going to be not Stan Jones. It doesn't look like it's probably anybody on the current staff. Maybe one person's a holdover. But new strength coach, Michael Bradley had been there for 20 years. Stan had been there for the whole time with Leonard. I think those were probably tough conversations in judging from a Stan Jones tweet that I don't know is still up or not. He did not take the news really well. But it's fine. I mean, look, man, it wasn't like he sent it in an email. He tweeted about it, and he was very vague, but it was somebody that was upset about something. Let's just say that. So, but as Luke said, you've got to make tough decisions, and he's making decisions for Florida State University and what's best for the program. Not what's best for him or what's best for somebody else, what he thinks is best for the program. And as we talked about, I thought it would be a really bizarre dynamic anyway for Stan Jones to work for Luke Loucks. It just would have been weird. But either way, that's not going to happen, so we don't have to worry about it. And I think that Luke talking about he's got the two assistants he's already hired, Michael Fly, who was a video coordinator here at Florida State, assistant video coordinator, then went with infield to Florida Gulf Coast for Dunk City, then took over Dunk City as the head coach and has been an assistant at Jacksonville for a few years. That's a guy with a lot of Florida ties. The other dude he's bringing in, I can't remember
Gerald
his name
Gilliam.
off the top. There you go, from Long Island, Brooklyn. He's worked with Rod Strickland's staff. Before that, he was a head coach at Chicago State. So he's bringing in two assistants, and also Luke's known him since he was 13 because they were in the same AAU travel program in Florida, in Clearwater.
He's a Florida State alum too.
Oh, I didn't know
Gilliam,
that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's interesting about that to me is he's hired two assistants who not only have been head coaches before, but also have a lot of Florida ties. And that's something that's very important to Loucks is keeping those Florida ties, keeping the best players in Florida in the state of Florida. Specifically, he wants them in Tallahassee, not Gainesville. And then, so there's that. It's the staff coming together. It's the roster retention. He admitted, not that this is a surprise, that most of the team that was here last year, most of the guys on that roster are gone. They're leaving. They're going to hit the portal, either by their choice or his choice, but they're going to hit the portal. That's just the nature of the world. He did say he's gotten a commitment from a couple of guys on this past team to stay, but he didn't want to get into that until the portal window was officially closed. I think the portal actually officially opens today is when it officially opens and people can start committing, I think, committing officially. But then it runs for the next 3 weeks. And after that, we'll know what the roster is. He talked about roster retention, the staff, bring the staff together. The next couple of assistants he's hired, at least a couple of them, it sounds like he wants, and they will have. It seems like he knows who they are, and they just can't announce them yet. Are going to be NBA guys with NBA backgrounds. He thinks the development portion of the game is very important. It's something that he thinks they might have a leg up on other colleges. Is if he has an NBA staff or a lot of guys that have been in the NBA, including himself, that could be an allure, and it also would help development. So I thought all that was interesting. I got all that out of the way. Very interesting, especially the staff stuff. But then also he is all in on the importance of NIL.
Yeah.
Would you agree or disagree with that, Aslan?
He recognizes it, yeah.
Yeah. And Ira's got a story that's on the website now, or should be anyway, about what he was saying about NIL. But yes, they want money. He needs money. He's going around making relationships with people, hoping to maybe entice them to maybe giving to the program so he can go get the best roster available. And then he's like, we'll take care of it from there, but we do need players. And he understands quite obviously the importance of a good NIL, a strong NIL when you're trying to entice recruits. Because he was saying, look, man, there are guys that are averaging 4 or 5 points a game. He didn't name any of them, but he's like, we'll be talking to an agent of a kid that averaged 5 points a game, and they're like, the starting negotiating rate is $500,000. And he's like, get out of here. So, again, just to give you a glimpse of what these numbers are, that's not realistic. The kid that's asking for 500, averaging 5 points a game, ain't getting it. But still, you've got to let the market settle and have these people realize what the real rate is, not what their agent is telling them they can get, but what they can actually get. And then you start making some wise investments. And it was funny watching Chuck Walsh, the Florida State SID, because he was in there. He was with Leonard forever. He's been great to work with for 20 years or 18 years, however long I've been doing it. But he's an old soul like we are.
Yeah.
And when Luke said something about, look, we've got a couple of commitments from guys, or we're getting a couple of commitments from guys. We want a couple of commitments from some other guys. But, we got to negotiate. We've got to figure out what they're asking for, what we can give, and go back and forth. And just the audible kind of sigh and shaking of the head of Chuck Walsh is like, yeah, man, this is crazy to hear a head coach talking like this. It's a crazy that this is the world we live in, but it is, and it's nothing new. But it's just funny, us that have been around sports and college sports for most of our adult lives, hearing conversations out in the open like this is still bizarre. Still haven't quite gotten over. Just like seeing Cooper Flagg in a commercial on my TV.
Yeah.
Not Mike Krzyzewski for American Express, but Cooper Flagg doing a bingo commercial for whatever that is, or Dawn Staley and her team doing an Adidas commercial, or Nike, I remember who. It's just still weird to see it, but it's there.
Yeah, some good reporting there from On3's Pete Nakos. This past season, it was believed the top budget was about $4 to $6 million, but now it's going to be upwards of $10 million. Louisville apparently ready to spend around 8 to 10 in the portal this year. One source saying budgets are way up, dollars are way up, just the overall money. Every starter now for a Power 4 team is making $500,000.
I mean, awesome. I don't know how that's sustainable. But yeah, for a Power 4 team, like you're telling me, like Boston College.
I know, like really, every guy out
Georgia
there is
Tech,
making 500 racks?
Watching that Georgia Tech team and thinking they're all making that kind of money. But yeah, I mean that's until it gets curbed to where we know what they're making and there are parameters on it. Then yeah, it's going to be a lot of this, a lot of like, what's this other guy making? Because I need to be making more than him.
There's a level of, I don't want to call it hubris. I don't want to call it arrogance, but there's a level of self-belief that Luke has that I feel kind of good about, Corey. Just a little kind of naivete almost. Like, yeah, man, I'm going to come here. I'm going to try to get this thing done. What do we think about? Do we take any parallels? Because we're always comparing. We need comps. It helps, at least helps me out. But to see what BYU did this weekend, their head coach, very similar to Luke's kind of path. I mean, that kind of has to make you feel good about what Michael Alford went and got Florida State this program.
I don't know that he'd been a head coach for before. Is that Kevin Young, right, at BYU?
Correct. Yeah.
But he's got them in the Sweet 16 now. He was an NBA assistant that took over that program. I don't know. I think Luke joked that he doesn't know where BYU gets that money, but it sounds like he knows what that NIL situation is, and Florida State's not quite there. Yeah. So they got some real players in the portal. Absolutely, though. I mean, look, man, we're in the it's the same thing with the football team. Like, it's not a 3-year work in progress anymore. You can go from great to awful and awful to great in a year's time. We saw it. Literally, we just saw it right before our eyes. It was in reverse, but we saw a great team turn into a horrible one in 1 year. So that's just the roller coaster-ish nature of college sports now. So, yeah, BYU gets a new coach, and they're already in the Sweet 16. And scored 95 points in that game or something crazy. That was a fun game to watch. So, no, that does give me confidence that I feel like he's got some blueprints that have been set up for him. He's also got his own ideas and takes on things. And the fact that he played here, I just think it could be a really cool marriage. If he can raise the funds he needs to raise and get the kind of staff that he wants to get with real NBA experience, I like that he wants to go get shooting. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it's very important to him. The fact that he wants them to be in great shape, meaning, unlike the Leonard teams, which would play 11 or 12 guys, he's like, yeah, man, I want to play 8 or 9. I want it to be like an NBA rotation. An NBA rotation never goes more than 10, and really, in honesty, in the second half of games, it's 8 or 9 guys, and they're all in phenomenal shape. And he's like, that's what we're going to be. We want to be the fastest team in the country, which is cool to hear, just because it'll be a fun style, and we want to be in the best shape. Again, they all say that. I get it, but that's his goal. He's not coming in here saying he wants to be Virginia. and he wants to be the best. He wants to lead the country in field goal percentage defense, or the least amount of possessions in a game. He wants to make this more of an NBA style with a lot of threes, good shooters, spreading the floor, pace and space, however he says it, up and down the court. Getting good looks early in the shot clock. All that stuff matters to him. And I also thought it was interesting how he talked about there's difference between being in good shape and basketball shape. He's like, I don't care how many times you can run around a track fast or how you can run in sand pits, which is something Florida State's always done in offseason is run in sand pits, which was kind of I'm not saying it was a veiled shot at anything, but he's like, we're not doing the sand stuff. We're not running around tracks. I want you to be able to run fast for 94 feet back and forth a lot. Get your body used to that because you're not running in a circle on a basketball court. There's a lot of starting and stopping. It's 94 feet. Get your body accustomed to running as fast as you can for 94 feet. So it's going to be this next month to see what kind of roster he puts together is going to be really, really fascinating. Like what kind of money he gets and what he can do with it, what kind of players he can bring in, who he can get to stay, who he even wants to stay, will be really interesting to watch.
We should see if we can get some sort of NIL partnership with Luke and his basketball team and Brunt Workwear because it sounds like he's trying to make that roster sturdy and durable. And Brunt Workwear didn't just make a durable work boot, Corey. They've reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time, you can get $10 off at Brunt by using the code WAKEUP at checkout. Their best-selling Marin work boots, not only built for the toughest job sites, they're completely waterproof, rain, mud, standing water. They're also oil-resistant and electric hazard rated. The Omen boot, which I don't know which one you got, Corey. You're going to have to open yours first and put them on, and you can tell us just how comfortable they are because I'm being told that these are just as comfortable as your sneakers. I've got the Marin coming to my way. They look a little bit more rugged because they'll probably put some jeans on and get away with going out to maybe the Strip if I want to get into that kind of trouble on my weekends.
Probably not. That's a weird thing for you to say. Don't you have a girlfriend, right? Still?
Well, I mean, I didn't say like bad. I was like,
you said get into trouble.
Well, doesn't mean women are involved. Just,
oh, okay. Just get into fights.
Yeah,
I gotcha. I feel you. All right.
The real work that I'm out there doing.
Nuck if you buck.
Yeah. But the Omen boot actually looks like, I don't want to call it a dress boot, but it looks like a Chelsea boot, everybody. And if you're like, what the hell's a Chelsea boot? Just trust me. It's going to look really good with some jeans. But you can wear it at work, and it's going to be super comfortable and durable. Again, go check it out at bruntworkwear.com/wakeup. Use the promo code WAKEUP to save $10 on your order. And Corey's already got his.
Yeah, I haven't taken them out yet. I haven't taken them out on the town to the Strip to do what Aslan was talking about. But they look great. They really do look great. They look like that's the cool thing, like you're talking about. They're actually work boots, and you know who you're talking to. You don't have to wear work boots to do a podcast. You know who you're listening to. But they're work boots that they would look normal if you're just at a restaurant or on a date. They're nice work boots, meaning they're dual purpose, man.
There we go.
It's not like you're just, they only work if they have mud on them. No. You can get them gussied up and go out on the town.
My girlfriend's in the other room, and she texted me the Strip, huh?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Well said, Abby. Well said. That was a weird thing for him to say.
bruntworkwear.com/wakeup. We're back. Last segment of the day. It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Shake it and take it. Take that, Miami. Run rule on Friday. Yeah. Hurricanes come back. And
run ruled on Thursday.
Yeah. Run ruled on Thursday, game 1. Friday, Jamie Arnold takes the bump and suffers his first loss of the season. Our guy got kind of battered, Corey. 7 hits over 4 innings, 6 earned runs, walk 3. Very uncharacteristic from our guy, Jamie. But then on Saturday, in the rubber match, the offense asserted itself once again. Peyton Prescott with an extended appearance out of the bullpen to stem the tide for Florida State as they take down Miami 10-6. And I think that's 6 series on the season for the Noles now. They've won all 6 of their series. It's the first one they didn't do it by sweep. I think the offense takes the headline, or does the headline starting pitching probably no longer with the starting ERA below 1?
Yeah,
because that's not a great Miami team.
It is not. It's not a great offense either, and you're never going to complain about – but you're also never going to complain about winning a series on the road. They did exactly what they had to do after a rough Tuesday to come back and win 2 out of 3 against a rival on the road, all games at night. You don't want to diminish that. It's a good win. It's a good series win. They should stay – they're 5-1 in the ACC, which is right at the top of the leaderboard there, and they'll stay top 5 in the country. But, yeah, a little unnerving that the first time they pitch away from home, that Jamie Arnold gets lit up, and so does Wes Mendez to a lesser degree, but especially considering the where we think Jamie Arnold could be drafted. Concerning. Just one bad start, but that's concerning. And it's concerning that he only had 2 strikeouts. Like, sometimes you're just going to find some barrels. But he had 2 strikeouts and pitched to, I don't know, man, 25 batters. And when's the last time Jamie Arnold was in a game and only struck out 2 of 20 batters? Yeah. It's crazy that he walked more than he struck out. That's not normal, and it's concerning. Because, look, man, Vellini was awesome. Let's get that out of the way. Vellini was awesome. But the headliner of this team is that starting pitching. That starting pitching is what is supposed to separate it from other really good teams in this conference and in this country. Those 3 guys are legit, and when your ace kind of gets hammered by a decent but not great offense, it's one outing. So I don't want to put too much into it, but right, that's concerning. I don't need him ever having an outing like that again. I didn't even know that was possible, to be honest with you. Don't know if the zone was tight. I think he was throwing, Link said he was throwing mid-90s. He's throwing the velocity was still the same, so it's not like an arm thing necessarily. But his slider was flat. They teed off on his secondary pitches. It's like they knew they were coming.
And he was psyched for it. He was psyched for this one, Corey. He talked about it last weekend, looking forward to going down to Coral Gables because last time they went down there, they got swept, I think, and it was an ugly sweep. And he's like, I'm looking forward to getting some payback. And that's not payback. Getting shelled for 7 hits and 6 earned runs. Yeah,
so that's not great. And then Mendez wasn't much better on Saturday night. And again, it's what they won the series. I just that's the strength of the team is the starting pitching. I think that the starting pitching and the defense is the strength of the team. Jamie Arnold and Wes Mendez kind of urinating on themselves in front of that crowd. It isn't great because there's going to be. They got to play other tough road series. Not this next weekend. That's Notre Dame in front of 600 people. So that's a different kind of energy you have to deal with. Different kind of that's just a whole different vibe you have to deal with. But they've got to figure that out. They will play super regionals. They will play in Omaha. And look, man, the last 2 times Jamie Arnold's been in a big game away from home. And pitched on primetime stage on a Saturday night against a good offense. Obviously Tennessee was much different, but he didn't do well against Tennessee last year either. And now he's his first real road test pitching. Right, this is their first road series. I'm
correct? No, it is.
Yeah. He goes down there and doesn't look like himself. Why not? Why did Wes Mendez not look like himself? Because we don't just want to have pitchers that are dominant in Tallahassee and then below average everywhere else, because the season doesn't end in Tallahassee if you're doing things correctly. The season ends 1,100 miles away in the middle of the country. So that's where you want them to that next step when they're in an environment like that, because there's also a chance they might have to play a regional or maybe a super regional on the road. There's no guarantee they're going to be a top 8 national seed. So again, I'm putting way too much stock in it, but I also don't think it's not understandable to be upset with the way those 2 guys pitched. When you're a dominant pitcher, when you're a bad mamba jamba, and you're one of the best pitchers in the country, and you think you're the best pitcher in the country, and you think you have the best starting staff in the country, but only one of you pitches well, man, all right, bow up next time. Don't let that happen again. Get whatever happened out of your system, and don't be a guy that only pitches well at home. And Jamie Arnold has not been that guy. He was obviously very good most of wherever he pitched last year, including he was great against Clemson at Clemson last year. They lost the game because of a nonsensical last inning, but Jamie Arnold was dominant when he pitched at Clemson. But I feel like it's just a different feel of Friday night in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Thursday night's different. It wasn't as big a crowd. Friday night and Saturday night in Miami for that rivalry, There's a different juice about it, man. Mm-hmm. And the next time they feel that juice, I want them to handle a little better. But that's the bad stuff. The good stuff is, yeah, man, the offense came correct.
8 dingers.
Yep. Max Williams, very good. He's starting to find it. Lodice is Lodice. Like, it doesn't stop, man. It just does. Harrelson, it just doesn't stop.
Yeah, Lodice had 2 dingers. Max had 2. Hunter Carnes had 2. Miles Bailey had 1. So did Brody DeLamielleure. It feels like DeLamielleure probably settling into that left field spot, which is encouraging to hear. Not sure what he's trying to do at third base. They ended up starting Carter McCulley in game 1, but then they went back and he went 0 for 3. And then game 2, they put Cal Fisher back at third base. He went 2 for 4, had a double. But then on Saturday, they ended up going back to McCulley at third base. So that's obviously a spot there that they're still trying to kind of figure out. But Farrell's kind of, I don't know, maybe solidified himself a little bit higher up in the lineup. And then to see Carnes with some power. Yeah. I mean, most of it came in that run rule game on Thursday, but still to do it on the road against that team.
Well, no, but he also had 2 homers on Thursday, which is great to see. One was both of them were bombs. And then on, I don't know.
He had a double on Friday.
And then he had 2 more hits on Saturday, including another double. Okay, he's starting to show some stuff, man. Like, Carnes is starting to become that guy that we thought he was going to be. And again, he should. We're 30 games in now, 23 games in. Like, yeah, okay, he's starting to figure it out. So with Carnes and Bailey, and then, yeah, you're right.
DeLamielleure. Brody. Just call him Brody.
Yeah,
Brody.
Brody. What he's done, he had a good game on Friday, even though they lost. He had a home run. He hit the team's only home run. Then he had 2 more hits on Saturday. Yeah, man, I think he's got. And also remember the game he got hurt, he hit the bomb against Jacksonville, a big one. Yep. His cousin hit one, and then he hit one. So yeah, man, when he's playing, he's performing, and he looks like he could be an impact bat. That's another addition to this lineup. So yeah, the lineup like 1 through 9 with Carnes and Bailey and DeLamielleure. Jackson West had a nice game. 2 more hits on Saturday. 2-out hit that drove in a run, making solid contact. He still doesn't have a home run, but that's fine. We don't need that from him. It's looking like 1 through 9, one of the best a better lineup than I thought it would be. I think a lot of that is Lodice and Harrelson, like playing above what I thought they might be. I thought they were good players. I didn't know they would have these kind of starts. They've been really good, and that 1, 2, 3 is so far through 23 games with Harrelson, Lodice, and Williams is really good. Like, Williams hasn't even quite gotten hot yet. No. He's still got 10 home runs. And about 18 balls. Like in that Saturday, I think it was the Friday game when they had a 2-1 lead maybe, and he came up with second, third, the bases loaded, something like that, and probably hit the ball 113 miles an hour, just a line drive right to the right fielder. If he lifts that by another quarter of an inch, it's a grand slam. It's a 2 or 3. How many ever people were on base? It's going to go 450 feet, and it's going to be 3 runs. He's so close. He just hits the ball so hard. Anyway, overall, really good. They only made 1 error as a defense in 3 games, and that was Farrell on Friday night. Jamie Arnold also made an error, but I know it counts as an error, but that's a pitcher's error. I'm talking about the 8 guys in the field. They only made 1 error, and maybe the highlight of the weekend for me, Aslan, because we know these guys are going to hit. They've proven now that what these guys are as an offense. They're going to be not as good as last year, but still plenty good, in my opinion. Peyton Prescott, man.
Oh, yeah.
Saved the series.
Yep.
Saved the series. So Florida State scored so they split the first 2, had a chance to win Friday night, but didn't. Jamie Arnold. I mean, when you score 6 runs in a Jamie Arnold start, you should always win those starts. Yeah. But anyway, so they lost the Friday game. Then they score 7 runs in the top of the 4th on Saturday to take, I think, a 9-2 lead or a 10-2 lead, 10-3, something like that. And immediately Miami scores 3 more off Mendez in the bottom of the inning, the exact opposite of a shutdown inning. Yep. So you're up 9-3. All of a sudden it's 9-6 because your starter gives up 3 more runs. And then in the bottom of the 5th, he leads off the inning by hitting the first batter. So, again, not exactly a meltdown, but not anything what he's been all season. Just squeezing it too tight, letting probably the environment get to him a little bit, which is understandable. He's not probably pitched in a situation like that before, but it's an experience that I hope he learns from and is much better the next time around. But anyway, so he's gone. He's done. He's given you 4 innings. He's given you 12 outs. All Peyton Prescott does is come in and pitch 4 scoreless innings, gives up 2 hits total, no runs, obviously, because they were scoreless, and 7 strikeouts.
Yep.
Just completely took over the game. And he was facing an offense that had just lit up Jamie Arnold and Wes Mendez for like 16 runs in the previous 12 innings. And then he comes in and shuts them down for 4. That saved the series for them. So him and Bellini were the stars of the mound, absolutely. He was just great. It's good to know you got that in Prescott, right? Because you're going to need big outs from him in much bigger situations down the road, theoretically. It's nice to know he has those kind of outings in him where he's not afraid of the moment. He comes in and bears down, and when the game seems to be getting away from Florida State, he just shuts down a rival and gets you a win.
Yeah, because it feels like right now everybody's trying to find and work into some sort of like specialized role, like, lefty on lefty matchup. They've got so many different options, but nobody feels like they're going to give you like more than 3 outs. It felt
him and Martinez are the only ones.
Well,
him and Martinez.
Yeah, for Prescott to come on and get you 12 outs?
12 outs, yeah.
Like, holy smokes. In that sort of setting, like you said, with the series hanging in the balance, that's a huge revelation. Hopefully he can build off on that. And then Joe Charles came on for the last inning on Saturday, too, to totally slam the door. So feeling good about that. This week, they're in Jacksonville playing the Gators. And then, as Corey said, they'll be in South Bend, Indiana to take on Notre Dame. That's going to be a standard Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. And, just for whatever it's worth, looking at the stats, Corey, right now, they're 5th in the country in batting average. They're 12th in slugging, 13 in home runs.
Yeah, man, it's been
32nd in scoring.
They've been really good. They've been better than I thought. Again, it goes back to, I think, those top 2 in the lineup and what they've been, because they've been like, they played, especially Lodis has played like an All-American. I wasn't seeing that through 23 games. I thought he'd be like honorable mention All-ACC.
Yeah.
Not through 23 games in the running for Player of the Year.
Right.
But that's how good Lodis has been, and he's been playing really flawless at shortstop. Just really, really good shortstop defensively. So that's big too. But either way, they've been better than I thought. Again, their first 2 series have been Miami and Boston College. It's going to get harder. They're going to face better pitching. But man, keep proving me wrong. Like, keep scoring 9 runs a game. What they scored 24. They scored 30 runs in 3 games down in Miami. That's a really nice series. I don't care how good Miami is or isn't. 30 games on the road in the ACC in 3 games, that's a dynamic offense. And so, and you've got, Bailey. Bailey hit a home run on Thursday. Carnes hit 2. DeLamielleure hit 1. Max Williams hit 1 or 2, I think.
2.
Like Max 2.
Weekend,
they up and down the lineup. Farreau didn't even have a good weekend. Didn't really matter. They still, for him anyway, they still won 2 out of 3. So they've up and down. DeLamielleure is that's a big addition if he can be that guy. And obviously the other 2 touted freshmen, Bailey and Carnes. Bailey's going to strike out a lot. Carnes might a little bit too, but when they hit the ball, it is impactful, and that's good to have on your team.
Meanwhile, Lonnie and the ladies taking care of business up in Durham, sweeping 18th ranked Duke, run ruling them on Friday 12-4, and then holding them off on Saturday 12-11, and Sunday breaking their spirit with a 9-2 victory. So all well this weekend on the diamond for Florida State, Corey.
Buddy, Jasoni Beecham, my girl Jasoni. Jasoni Jasoni Beecham. Hit a ball on Sunday. So they beat Duke 9-2 on Sunday. I'll get to Saturday in a second. She hit a ball that because what's cool when Duke, I don't know if Florida State's broadcasts do this too, but when they hit a home, when Max Williams hits a home run, it'll tell you the exit velo and the distance.
Yeah.
They were doing that on the softball games.
Oh, nice.
So you saw so now you have some reference points. Like Michaela Edenfield hit a home run on Saturday. She didn't get all of it. It was really high. She hit it to right center field, but it was like 76 off the bat. It went 239 feet. Which is, I know that might not sound like much to you guys, but it's a softball. They don't go very far. 240 feet. The fences are 210, 220. So she hit it 20 feet over the fence. They measured Beecham's home run in the first inning on Sunday at 300 feet.
Oh, my gosh.
It hit off the light pole, or it would have gone out off the campus. It's unbelievable. I don't know what the exit velo was, but they measured it right around 300 feet. It just so she had like 3 doubles in that home run. But again, it was a really, really good series win. And other than 2 innings, it was as dominant as they've looked all season. Like Duke's a good team, everyone. They won the ACC last year.
They're 18th ranked, yeah. They're
18th ranked in the country, and they also won the ACC last year. Like, they're a good team. They almost made it. They might have made it to Oklahoma City or came really close. And Florida State went up there. Now, there were a lot of Florida State fans, too, which was cool to see. But they went up there on Friday night and run-ruled them 12-4 in 5 innings. On Saturday, they were beating them 11-1 in the 5th and were about to run-rule them again, and then the doors fell off. And then on Sunday, they beat them 9-2. Like, so if you take those 2 innings away where they gave up literally, I think they gave up 10 runs in 2 innings. If you take those 2 innings away, which I know you don't do, they outscored one of the top 20 teams in the country by 28 runs in 3 games. The offense is just at another level, man. This is the best offense she's ever had. I'm telling you, I think Kennedy Hart might be the best center fielder in the country. I think Beecham is absolutely the best third baseman in the country. I think Torres is the best shortstop in the country. And they all bat 1, 2, 3 in your lineup. And they're all sophomores. And then Edenfield's hitting over 400. So I think when you look at their top 4, and then Katie Dack has 9 home runs. She's one of the ACC leaders in home runs. And then Janai Kerr starting to hit like Janai Kerr again. Haley Wake, like literally, you go up and down this lineup. There is not an easy out. In that first 5 or 6, it was just funny listening to the Duke commentators talk about it. It's relentless. There is no bottom of the order. It never stops. Like, oh, you got to number 9. Well, she got on base. Danley got a hit. Arbueno got a hit. Oh, now I got to deal with these 3 All-Americans coming up in a row. 4 All-Americans. Edenfield's one of the best catchers in the country. It really is an amazing, amazing offense that they have. And Beecham is the best hitter they've ever had, unless it's Torres or Harp or Warren. Jesse Warren from back in the day. She's just unbelievable. But anyway, so that all being said, we know the offense is great. They proved that in Durham again. The pitching, I thought, was really good, except for those 2 innings where it turned into an absolute cluster F. They were up 11-1, Aslan. By the time they make the last out in the 7th inning, it's 12-11 with the bases loaded. Yikes. And Duke's got the tying run at 3rd, the winning run at 2nd. The girl hits a screamer to Beecham that she knocks off her chest and touches 3rd to win the game. But other than that 45 minutes where they couldn't get anybody out and they got tattooed, the pitching was good and the offense was next level. So again, they need to be a top 8 national seed. I know they were number 9 going into that weekend, sweeping the number 18 team on the road, run-ruling them once and almost run-ruling them 2 other times. I would assume that pushes them up in the rankings. If they can hold steady, get quality pitching, improve on defense a little bit. They're not very good defensively right now. But if they can improve their defense just a little bit, get the quality pitching they've been getting, not overpowering but quality, that offense is going to make them one of the top 8 teams in the country. Of course, Oklahoma's number 1. So
they lost to Missouri this past week, I think.
Let's go, Tigers. Suck on that, Sooners.
Crack in the armor there. So softball's got Stetson on Wednesday here in Tallahassee, and then they'll be hosting NC State Friday, Saturday, Sunday for a set too. So no baseball if you're in town. Why not check out softball team? They're 29-5. Baseball, like 20-3 right now. Incredible wagons. It's a bunch of wagons.
It is crazy. There. Oh, there's something else I saw that I've never seen before. So in I don't remember in college baseball. Can you intentionally walk someone, or do you have to throw the pitches?
I think you don't have to throw the pitch. I think
you tell them you go to first, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Well, in softball they don't allow that. So when Beecham came up after her 300-foot home run the second time, there was a runner on second, and I think nobody out. It's because you can't throw the pitches. They just had the pitcher stand in the circle and let the timer go run all the way down, and it's an automatic
pitch clock
ball.
Violation. Nice.
They had 4 straight pitch clock violations. So Beecham just stood there in the batter's box for 2 minutes or whatever it was, and then walked to first because they didn't want to throw her even a pitch that was supposed to be a ball. Never seen it before. It's unbelievable.
That's awesome. All right, well, that's a wrap for us. No football today. They're going to be going to a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday schedule, so we'll probably use that as sort of a North Star for how we're going to drop shows for the next 4 weeks as spring football goes about. We'll do a mailbag show at some point. I think we might need to do a live show too, Corey. Just letting you know.
All
Just
right.
putting that out there.
We'll work that. We'll get on that. Maybe a little Wednesday live show, you think?
Okay. A little Wednesday live show, Thursday mailbag for Friday, maybe?
Yeah, sure. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes,
Thursday,
everyone.
Practice, long days, long nights, video podcast. Well, we'll figure it out. Jeff Cameron, though, he'll be grinding for you 1 to 4 o'clock because, he's got a 3-hour show now. Him and Tom Lane. Jeff Cameron Show. Check it out on our YouTube channel. Shout out to whoever pushed us over 50,000. We're well over it now.
We did it, gang. We did it.
All right, next
stop, 100.
Let's go, everybody. Just subscribe to it. It's totally free, everybody. Hit the thumbs up on the way out, too. That would be really awesome. Check out warchant.com. Plenty more wrap-up from practice this past weekend. A lot of recruiting stuff going down. I don't think we call it Heritage Weekend. We call it Legacy Weekend. So a lot of former greats on campus. Mastromano got his All-American brick unveiled. I think him and Ryan Fitzgerald got their All-American brick. So check it all out. It's over on warchant.com. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com.